Hi guys. Orientation is how what you're attracted to sexually.
Can you be born with the attraction towards another body?
People are born that way.
Considering the fact that kuna transgenders.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Opinion Launch. You talk, you miss. My name is Michelle Aseka. I am a guest speaker today. We are very happy to come here and share our opinions. My other panelists will introduce themselves.
My name is Keegan Bran, aka Big Future, and I'm happy to be here.
I'm Grace Nzokir.
I'm Jim Herman, and I'm happy to be here. I'll be moderating today's show. The topic we are going to talk about is LGBTQ. We are going to dig deep into LGBTQ and try to take apart the recent ruling by the Supreme Court that allowed the LGBTQ the right to associations. Yeah, freedom of association. So we are just going to go direct to the topic. People are talking about LGBTQ, and some of us out there don't even know what LGBTQ means. Big Future, would you like to tell us what LGBTQ is?
That's an interesting question. Basically, in my opinion, I'd say LGBTQ, the people like us who feel they have a different sexual orientation. Something like the people like us who feel they have a different sexual orientation. Yeah, that's according to me.
Very nice. So LGBTQ and sexual orientation, their sexual orientation is in itself might be a new word to some of us. Sexual orientation and sexual identity. Gracie, would you like to try and tell us and make us understand what sexual orientation and sexual identity is?
Hizo zote see the same thing.
No,
They're not the same thing.
I don't think.
I can't really say sexual identity is how you choose to be identified, because I'll be using the same word to define the word. Okay, sexual orientation, let me try. It's how you meant.
I'm trying, guys. I will say sexual identity is how you identify in like a sexual realm. So maybe sexual identity, I identify as a woman or I identify as a man. So let's say in a situation where there are two lesbians, most of the times there's usually a masculine party and a feminine party. So maybe in that, the sexual identity of this masculine one will be that they'll identify as a man in their relationship. But sexual orientation is your sexual inclination. Now, what are you attracted to? So sexual orientation, it could be there's even the ones that are attracted to mindset. Wanapenda intellect, sapiosexual. So you see, so your sexual orientation could be that you're a sapiosexual. It could be that you are attracted to, it could be that you are attracted to how, it could be appearance. It's not necessarily at your gender. You're attracted to someone's gender. Sexual orientation is what you're attracted to sexually. Yeah.
Future, you have something to say. You agree? So Michelle has talked about gender. How does gender and sexual orientation, relate? What are your thoughts on it?
Gender and sexual orientation, how do they relate? Okay. For instance, let me use this analogy. Like, I'm a girl. When Michelle described sexual orientation, it's what you're attracted to sexually, no? So hizi vitu mbili nika nataka kupiga stori za ajabu. Pass.
Guys, you can't be doing this. Mnaniachia all the what's sexual orientation and gender. You know, it's good that you've asked that, because there's a relationship between sexual orientation and gender, and sexual orientation and other things. So I think between sexual orientation and gender is which gender are you attracted to? You are a man. Are you attracted to a man or a woman or a transgender? Because there are also people that are both a man and a woman. So I think the relationship between sexual orientation and gender is you as a person. Which gender are you attracted to? Yeah.
Okay, for me, I think gender basically is let me say, how you first of all how you created, like hadi kwa hizo forms unanga sijui kujaza mahali wakiandika gender hapo hivyo, you either man or you either masculine or feminine. So basically that is gender. Like okay, ni funny how saying this, like it depends how do your genitals look like. Una get kuna ya wanaume na kuna ya madem, as in that's gender now. And then sexual orientation, just as Michelle amesema, who you're attracted to, in as much as I'm a man, who am I attracted to? No. So hapo hiyo ndio sexual orientation inaingilia.
There are a lot of talks about people being born this way and people being born the other way. Number one, you have to establish that before one is a lesbian, he or she, or gay, he or she has to be born. So the question is, can someone be born lesbian apart from the fact that to come into this world you have to be born? So can you be born with the attraction towards another girl? Can you be born with the attraction towards another boy? And let me start with Michelle. Michelle seems to have
So I believe in some circumstances some people are born that way. In some other circumstances people are not born that way. It's either peer pressure ama sasa mtu ameamua tu sasa kuexplore. They say sex is a spectrum. It's not like at one how we are made to believe that it's supposed to be a man and a woman. It can be explored. So in the first limb, someone can be born that way. The second limb, someone can make a decision to be that way. Ama sasa anaweza succumb to peer pressure. These days you never know, but someone can be born that way. For example, you see some people, easy stuff za chromosome, XY chromosome. So unapata sometimes there are some girls when they are born but with masculine features. So someone is born a girl, yes, but maybe they don't have boobs, ama they are physically looking like a guy, ama ama mtu tu, like so unapata in that person growing up pia their sexual orientation will be, since pia akona masculine features, so unapata pia sexual orientation yake anakuwa attracted towards a girl. So that one was born that way, hatuwezi mwekelea. But then there are others mwenye yeye ameamua tu, so it's both ways. Yeah.
Mi nafikiria hapo hivyo kwa born that way. I partly agree with Michelle, lakini kusema nini, how do I say this, kitu moja like most of us tunazaliwa tunaitwa genders mbili, you either masculine or you're feminine. So but when you're born there's something called sijui Sigmund Freud psychoanalytic stages, ama ni Sigmund Freud psychoanalytic, kuna hizo stages somewhere in psychology. There's this age between age 3 to 6, into phallic stage, where the child there's like kijana, the boy akiwa mdogo kwa hiyo age between age 3 to 6, they're attracted to the opposite gender. So if it's a boy, it's attracted to the mother. If it's a girl, she'll be attracted to the father. So lakini sasa nini hivyo, asipopitia hiyo stage vizuri, like kama ni kijana enda ama kama ni msichana enda kwa baba, and then the girl will fall in love more with the father at that time. Akienda kwa baba anamsukuma toka hapa hivi, enda pale hivyo. For example, hakuna huyo baba, hakuna ndugu mkubwa, like ni yeye peke yake, inafanya kutakuwa na fixation in their adulthood. Itafika place yenye when this happens pale hivyo, fixation itakuwa for girls it's called Electra complex, and then for boys it's called Oedipus complex. So basically how someone is brought up pale between age 3 to around age 6 there. So me I don't think we're born that way. Lakini what is true ni hiyo stages hapo hivyo kutakuwa na fixation usipopitia hiyo stage vizuri. That's what I think.
Crazy. What do you think?
Content. So maybe my opinion, the first, you can be born that way. You can be born gay or lesbian. Considering the fact that kuna transgenders, what Michelle said. Yeah.
Before you continue, would you like to tell us what a transgender is?
Transgender inoka when ni hawa watu tunaoita semenya, something of the sort. Like this person is born, like he or unaona, like ikiwa hivyo, like that person, that individual would want to associate with people with like yeye sasa itakuwa choice yake. I want to interact with so many a female like mimi sasa, and I'm transgender. I'll decide, it will be up to me to decide whether I want to have sexual relations with another lady, ama I'll decide I want to have sexual relations with a man. You get? And then the other thing ni personal choice. So zingine mtu umepigwa heartbreak 1-2 kasema men are dogs. I'm not saying men are dogs, but ni literally see, you know, the common stereotype. So like ukaamua like maybe a woman can understand me better because like we're going through the same thing, atanielewa vizuri. Ama like as a man, wewe you don't like women like at all. Like kuna vitu women do zenye ni turn off kwako, so you decide like mimi and women no. For instance, you can say women are so dramatic and they don't want that. And then kuna how gay males who behave like females, like they'll do the nails, they'll do the hair, they want to fit in, and they believe that actually it was like venye walizaliwa, it doesn't define what they are ama who they are. So they want to like form something like a rebellion, not really a rebellion, but they just want to feel like girlish. And then another thing, the influence from Western culture. Watch movies and then like, hey, you are LGBTQ, like your favorite character in that movie are LGBTQ, and then you decide maybe sasa I want to be like that. You see the way that character and dress up, and then you're influenced. You're like, I also want to dress like her, I want to be like her, I want to do things like her. That's it.
Content. Well, I would like to make a little clarification. I'm a little fuzzy about transgender and intersex, but according to me, what I think intersex is, intersex actually can be classified as a disability. I really don't feel like they should even be part of the LGBTQ community, because someone who is intersex, he I don't know what's whether the individual were at birth, they have two organs, two genitalia. and this condition can be easily rectified at adolescence, because one of the two becomes more dominant than the other. So it's quite easy to rectify it. But the problem is, you might want to rectify it at the point when anakuwa born, and then you realize that you did away with the one that was yeah. So it becomes a problem. And transgender, I feel transgender are just people who, no offense, people who feel like I am a lady trapped in a man's body, or I am a man trapped in a lady's body. I don't know what you think about that. Yeah, I think that's the difference between transgender and yes. Keegan, do you want to add something on that? Yes, and what Keegan talked about, the psychosexual stages of development. Okay.
So, like, according to your last statement, is it okay to say that if I am the way I am, like a woman, I have boobs and different, so like if I decide to undergo operation, is it operation or surgery to remove my boobs or will that make me a transgender?
Yeah, that is actually what transgenders do. They mutilate their body, which is really funny, because it is FGM or MGM in some sort of way. When you go mutilating your body, you might we've had stories of people who cut their breasts, who started taking dosages to change their to bring out the hormones that they want, and then later on they discover that they did not want that hormone, which is quite dangerous for some people, because when you are young, you might do things because you feel like you want to do them at that point, but that does not mean that they are right to do. I want us to move on to the next question, which is that without the backing of the law, the LGBTQ members or the LGBTQ communities have existed among us, right? Without if we do away with the law, or we have the law, they have been there since time began. So do you think that with lived experiences, do you think that mostly the young people, even the older generation, do you think that they really have a problem with this community, or is it that because they are in court right now, that makes them have a problem with them? Michelle.
I'm a law student. It's so hard for me to talk without using the law. But anyways, I think the way you're saying, they have been living amongst us. Me feel like there's always been a problem, because apart from like our Christian foundation and Christian wanashinanga tu wamekemewa, it's never ati sasa we have accepted them. It's just that they are there. Yes, they're there because they have to be there, but the fact that no one talks about them, when you talk about them, huongea in the negative. So like if 100% of a population, nasema like 30% by now have accepted them, 70% still haven't, a big population being men wanakwanga na like shida sana. So them moving to court was actually a good thing, according to me, because it sparked up a conversation that has not been there. Yes, they have been living amongst us, but kumekuwa tu na conflict, because there are some people that are really not okay with it, some people are okay with it. But as a country, I'd say Kenya hasn't really reached a place where we can accept them. So wacha waende court so that these conversations can be sparked up, so that we see the way forward.
Zivi said something about all the people na accept history. Yeah, so for me, I guess I think this is true. All people still have nini conflicts na hizi story kwanza, because if you talk to young people bado wako at a crossroads. The fact that they're at crossroads means there's a things zenye given a chance they can talk about, lakini old people najua how the mind works. You umegrow, uko na familia, uko na watoto wako na watoto, so there's a perception of life that you've had for a long time, na vile the way you think ni kama the way your mindset iko ni kama already erected pillars zenye kwanza kuangalia things from a different perspective will mean demolishing those pillars ndio change mindset yako, of which for all people that's not easy. Like, this is the way I've lived for the last 40 50 years or so. Yeah, so I think all people have that, because I don't blame them pia, because they already have ill-established mindset. Yeah, this is wrong, na pia partly because of the way they were brought up pia wakiwa wadogo.
Okay, in my opinion, I think the society we're living in is quite archaic, and yeah, and these old people, they're laggards. They don't want to accept things. Yeah, and then as much as what tunasema change is inevitable, I don't think them moving to court and fighting for their rights was a good move, actually, because considering the fact that you're living in an archaic society, a lot of things can happen. For one, like, we've seen people being murdered for being gay or lesbians, and then like people are okay. Let me just say, like, these old people are okay with it in such a way that as long as you don't interfere, you don't show them that you're gay or lesbian, like ni kama wana accept shingo upande, like usiwaonyeshe you subscribe to, yeah, lakini sa like ukikuza brushing it on their faces, chances are you'll end up being stigmatized, you'll end up being killed. Una put your life at risk for what? Your sexual orientation. Kitu unazofanya chini ya maji and you'll be okay. Yeah, so I don't think it was a good move. Yeah, really. As much as they're fighting for their rights, and what you say, like, don't just show us. We are okay if you do your things, uko mbali na sisi, as long as you don't interrupt our normal lifestyle or schedule.
That's quite an interesting perspective, because the reason they were in court is because they experienced this form of violences, and they in a way they were going to court to have the covering of law for them to not experience these forms of violences like murder, to be able to get health care and things of that sort. So whatever Gracie has said is true, because as I was preparing for this discussion, I was watching some parliamentary proceedings about a bill that was introduced in parliament by one of our MP which is actually just against the LGBTQ community. And I'm just going to read to you some rhetorics that I had that I felt were interesting, and then you tell me what you think about them. So the first one of the MPs opens his statement by thanking the what do they call them? Mr. Speaker, yeah. Thanking the Mr. Speaker for giving him the opportunity to vent. Well, to vent on the to vent on the topic, and the other honorable member was talking about. Honorable Farah Malim says that he is a Muslim, and for Muslims they have death penalties for people who engage in such acts, and he is very proud of that. That's the first one. Number two, Honorable Farah Malim still suggests that we should introduce a capital punishment for people like people who engage in this act. The other one is Honorable Farah Malim still. He says that they are murderers, and murderers are better than these LGBTQ community members. So meaning that LGBTQ community members are worse than murderers. So, and they do not deserve to live. That was said in Parliament. So, and the other one was the Member of Parliament of Mavoko says that, and I quote, "Tell the LGBTQ members to be wary, and I'm going to tell you what to do with them." With those utterances, what do you think? What do you think is the implication of what they are talking about in Parliament to the members of the LGBTQ community and the people they represent in Parliament? Let's start with the lawyer.
Oh my God! Your question is their implication. The implication of that is now what is bringing about this whole conflict in society. Let me tell you something. Let me teach you something in law. It's called the harm principle by John Stuart Mill. This man said, as long as two people or more engage in something and it's not harming anyone, then they should be left. As long as it's not harming anyone, and a problem will arise if it's causing harm to, maybe if I'm a lesbian and then I decide to go and start doing my lesbian activities in open air, I know very well some people will be triggered by this, So if I am doing that to cause harm to others, then it should be illegal. So I strongly disagree with the sentiments of those politicians or parliamentarians, because such comments are what spark a lot of conflict and a lot of rebellion from the LGBTQ community. How I think they should handle it is that let them illegalize it if it's causing harm to others. Let them say this and this will be the consequences of practicing homosexual activities in public. This will be the effect of disturbing people's peace of mind by doing this and this and this. But if someone is doing something in their own privacy and it's not disturbing anyone, then why should we even go to an extent of killing them for it? Because truth be told, homosexuality is just one. There are so many other vices. There's adultery, there's theft, there's what. So there's corruption. So it's the way Kigan said, it's hypocrisy of the highest order. It's just put on a false show when there are so many other things we should be concentrating on other than these people are not there doing. As long as they're not disturbing anyone, then why should we be so harsh to them? So implications of them saying that is that they think they're solving the problem, but they're actually making it worse. Because when you say such sentiments, and I am part of LGBTQ community, I will be triggered, and this is what will make me fight, move to court, because I will feel I am not accepted. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think for me, Nona, I see it's of the utterances of this of our parliamentarians. I think I'm not sure if these people realize the weight of their words, because these are our lawmakers. na some of the things they say or do, like iko na nini, like it means a lot. Whatever they say, whatever they do means a lot for the rest of us as Kenyans. I think it's a little bit msemi aje, not for bad, siko baya. We have tuko na nini, like that's something you talked about, age na nini. I think the way old people look at these things and the way young people look at these things see the same. Na vile tulikuwa nimesema has like the way their mindset iko already established, like this is wrong na nini, so their mindset is fixed on this thing. Lakini it's sad to see that at least unaona ni kama at least wangesema, unaona kama mzazi sasa hataki kukupea kitu lakini hataki usikie vibaya pia at the same time. Anakwambia mam niletee hiki, anakwambia haya sawa, pesa ikibaki nitakuletea, though at the back of her mind she knows hawezi kuletea, unaona. So lakini sasa ile akasema sikuletee hata ufanye nini, unaona, hata like as it basically shows how bado we as a country not ready to have this conversation, kama bado that is what our leaders, people who are representing us wanasema. So it's quite heavy, that's what I think.
First of all, I'd like to point out that the media and politicians, they play a major role in influencing how we think as citizens. Remember, there's someone who looks at them as their role model or mentor, something of the sort. And when these people listen to their words and their sentiments are like, we should, it's bad, like LGBTQ is bad, it's worse than murder, like those people should be, was it killed, Dama? Yeah, something of the sort. So these people, like they'll act under their own volition actually, but it will be influenced by whatever sentiments these leaders say. And then like if tell me like what engage in kuwa stigmatize, kuwa there's this sidelining them from the society, they'll kutakuwa na increased killings and and ukiangalia like when they go to court, I mean, like someone can quote those words, like, and then he'll be on the right, you see, like atakuwa anajaribu kujustify a bad thing using those words. Again, the fact that the media chose to like air such the media should, this is just random, the media should portray, as much as they want to show us that LGBTQ is bad, they should show us like the good and the bad, like ndio ikuwe choice ya mtu, like ukiamua, at least ukiamua to be gay or a lesbian or to nini, like at least you'll know what you're getting yourself into. And then I think that's all.
Very nice. So the next question I want us to try and take apart is, was the ruling right? The ruling to allow the LGBTQ members freedom of association, was it right? And what does that ruling mean to the members of the LGBTQ community and the community at large?
Freedom of association is in Article 36 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. So, that constitution is not there for cosmetic purposes. The constitution is there expressing the will of the people, sovereignty of the people, and at all times should be enforced. a member of the LGBT community is a citizen of Kenya just like you. Let me not say, so do your orientation. Is a citizen of Kenya just like any other person. So they have equal rights. You know, our constitution in a protect adi like people who are even accused persons. So that just shows you how much the constitution is there to protect people's rights. Here, the ruling is right because what they go to court to seek. They went to court to seek freedom of association. The leaders of the Supreme Court cannot deny someone freedom of association because it's in Article 36 of the Constitution. What will you tell that person after you've denied them freedom of association? These people did not move to court to say that same-sex marriage should be legalized. Unajua people, there is a lot of misunderstanding because watu wanasema at Supreme Court ilikubali LGBTQ. Now how will two men marry each other? No, that was not the ruling of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's ruling was that these people now have freedom of association. If they want to form a club, no one should stop them, no one should ban them, no one should abuse them, cause violence to them because they want to just associate. And associating could be just us coming together as a club. It could be us doing activities together. That's what they went to court to seek, and that's what the Supreme Court really granted them. So the ruling was right, was okay, because the judges were just doing their duty in what has been like what their duty is supposed to be, which is to always uphold the Constitution. Yes.
Yes, what Michelle has said, copy and paste. To add on to that, hiyo place ya kitu Michelle amejaribu kuelezea, most people didn't understand hiyo ruling. Unaona, people were like, yeah, and the Supreme Court imekubali hii story. Yeah, they did. People, yeah, the statement was so much open to misinterpretations. Na pia I kind of blame them. I sort of blame the media. So if you look at some of social medias, some of those media houses, like they hadn't like wanasema haukuwa wameandika, they didn't have the posts vizuri kuonyesha kwamba ni right to association ndio imekubaliwa, unaona. So like like Chris said, that's the main idea that makes people the media influences mostly how we think, how we perceive things. So copy and paste what Michelle said.
Chrissy, was the ruling right?
Kwanza tena shanga. Like it's a freedom of association. Yeah, we are human beings, we're Kenyan citizens, and we all have the same rights. Like there's no citizen who's superior to the other. And then we have people who are in different groups. Could have to work different, what do you call this weird groups, cults, and they can associate. Yeah. Like they can meet without any interference from the people. They can demonstrate without any interference. You get. And then why is it that when it comes to LGBTQ, like tunarudi tu ile, like we are in a archaic society, like we don't want to face it, and it's there. Hata tukikata like these people, we say like we want to do away with them completely, they'll always be there. I'm sure hata hapo hivi kati yetu you don't know. You don't know. Yeah. So like mi nashangaa mbona, but it was right.
Yes, because you see I think the fear that the community has, I don't know, but I think in South Africa this was how it began, and it eventually got legalized, and I think that is the same fear that the community has, that this is it's like a stepping stone to legalizing. Actually, I think there's still that case on court. They are trying to fight to repeal section 162 and 163, of the penal code. So I think the fear of the community is that after winning this one, they'll easily win the next one. And do you think that fear is justified?
that fear is actually justified, because as Haman is saying, it's true. Even Imeanza, this was the first step. This was had to be the first conversation to spark. Very soon we will be in court now asking, are we legalizing same-sex marriage or what? I understand the fear that society has, and we must also acknowledge the fact that it's not easy. There's something called a paradigm shift. This is a total change in the way a society operates things, So, since time immemorial, we have marriage imekuwa a man and a woman. Relationships have been a man and a woman. It's not something to achieve in 2 weeks. At so we'll just legalize same-sex marriage and everything will go on as normal. It's going to be such a huge blow for society, and people are justified in being afraid. It's just the fact that we have to acknowledge that it's happening. As Gracie said, change is inevitable, so we'll just have to accept that it's happening, it's coming. When they go to court, whatever the court decides, that will what the court will have decided, and we'll just have to embrace it. And then change is supposed to be something slow, so we shouldn't also rush to the huge part of society that's not okay with it. Tusiwa rush to ati hawa nini mbaya now, kwani why can they just tolerate people? No, it's okay that they feel that way, but I think with time, and as time goes by, these laws come, they change. Wenye tu tulikuwa tumezoea this old system, tutakuja pia with time tuzoe this new system, but it's not going to be at a sudden change ama something that's going to happen in 2 weeks. We have to give it time. Yes.
Is the fear of the society justified?
It is justified, but one thing, they don't have to be afraid. It's not happening anytime soon. Maybe I'll be 60. It takes time. Kitambo to convince hawa watu wazee. And then look at our leaders. I mean, I think the moment you have some fresh blood in the government, hapo ndo sasa wanafaa kukuwa scared completely, and totally. So but as long as we have these old people in the government, they have nothing to worry about.
As long as we have these old people in the government, we have nothing to worry about. That's a good point to stop the first section of this discussion. We invite you back to follow the discussion in the second part.